Tyler told me to ask you some weird questions. So
Ask me weird.
I'm trying to think of some weird questions.
Hey, throw the hardest ones at me that you possibly can.
You look ready, so
I'm so ready. Honestly, I thrive on difficult questions.
I'm just gonna Google some weird questions.
There you go.
But flight went okay?
Flight was good, mate. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it was 6 days ago that I caught that flight, but it was actually only a matter of hours because I'm actually staying with one of my best friends right now who is in a duo called Seaforth in country music. I mean, they're both like my best friends, but I'm staying with Tom just now. And surprisingly, we're trying to like go a bit easy on the booze right now because last year there's a pub in Nashville that me and him. It's an Australian-British thing. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's called The Pub in Nashville. In the Gulch.
Yeah, I live right by it.
Oh, dude, dude, I love it so much.
It's dangerous.
I'm literally there. Are you at Velocity or what used to be Velocity?
At Aspire.
Cool. Yeah. Is that?
Brand new. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what it is.
Right on Jason Street.
Yeah, last year we went there all the time. So this year we promised ourselves that we weren't going to drink as much. So I actually got to bed at 10 o'clock last night, which was
there you go,
shocking.
Quite domesticated.
Usually it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, but to get to bed at 10 o'clock at night is pretty impressive, as they say.
Yeah. So
adulting.
Doing a dry January?
Damp.
Moist.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's an after party tonight.
Is it actually?
Yeah, if you want. Here. Well, not here.
Oh, wow.
Trying to figure out the venue
Stumbling distance.
Yeah, there's a high chance.
It's a walking distance, and our driver will be there to take you home.
No way.
Yeah, we already have it
I
set
love
up.
that you're like big advocates for no drink driving. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun, to be honest. My business manager is actually coming in here tonight to watch me for the first time. She's actually flown all the way from Nashville, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, that's awesome.
And very kind of her.
She can come too.
She can come too.
She's
going back into Chicago tonight. My missus actually was dancing in Chicago here.
Really?
She was on Broadway here in the Nederlander, yeah. And there's a British pub in Chicago called the Elephant and Castle that I absolutely love. And I said to myself tonight, I was like, I'm getting into the city somehow. I'm going to the Elephant and Castle. But do you know what? Now I'm 50-50 after you told me there's a party.
You have to. You guys come back.
Absolutely.
It's only a 6.5 hour drive. I make it drive all the time.
There you go, dude. Honestly, I'm so glad I flew. Like I drive to Alabama all the time, 6.5 hours. It's hectic.
On 65?
65 all the way down to Dothan.
And then well, even coming up north, there's construction everywhere you look.
I'm flying.
And for those of you who haven't decided yet, we have Jordan Harvey on the podcast. We just jumped right into it.
I loved it though. That's just how I like it.
Yeah.
Who just flew in this morning, but apparently it was 6 days ago, according to his time.
It definitely felt like 6 days ago, but I also feel like I've been awake for a month, so maybe that's just all kind of jammed into one.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
You're from Scotland, and now you're living in Nashville.
Yes.
Most people would never go from Europe to Nashville. They go Europe to LA, New York.
Yes.
So why Nashville?
So when I was a little kid, on Saturday mornings, my dad would take me to my grandpa's garage, as you call it. We call it a garage. And that's where I learned about cars and country music. There was a record player in the corner, and my dad spun Johnny Cash records. So Live at Folsom Prison, favourite album of all time. And I just fell in love with country music, man. Like, growing up in Scotland, there's such a big folk scene, and there was such a direct correlation that I could hear and see with the storytelling of Scottish, Irish folk music and country music. And, instead of getting Kumbaya when they sang to me when I was going to sleep, my mum sang like, "You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille." So I got some Kenny Rogers classics as well, and I just loved the sound of country, man. I just fell in love with it, and I grew up in rural Scotland, so I feel like I already kind of lived the country lifestyle. And often people look at me and go like, "Oh, there's no way this guy's country with his long hair and his weird outfits." But it's like, hey man, like, country music isn't what you look like, it's a lifestyle, and it's whether or not you live it.
Awesome.
And I've always lived it, man.
Yeah.
Truly.
Absolutely. It can't be more accurate. Country is a lifestyle. It's not like who you are, it's lifestyle. Especially over here in Northwest Indiana, country is like in your blood, no matter what.
Absolutely, man. It's so funny. Like, I'm sure we'll get onto this topic at some point, and if we don't, I'll make it brief. But TikTok is such a funny thing, right? And like this morning, like I posted this video of this new song I have out called "Along for the Ride," and so much amazing positive feedback on it. And then this one guy literally comments on it saying, "Dude, you're dressed like a rapper, not a country artist." And I replied saying, what does that even mean? I mean, like, you can't, like, just because I wore an oversized sweatshirt and a jacket in the freaking freezing cold doesn't mean that, that identifies. So I just replied saying, hey man, like, appreciate your comment, but I don't feel like how you dress identifies you in a certain way.
No, absolutely not. And that's where like for example, we've had Cooper Allen, who, TikTok blew him up.
Absolutely.
And people just think he's like a parody singer, but he's a country singer.
Yes.
Like you're gonna have haters no matter what you do. You just gotta learn to like just be nice and just brush it off, because stay true to who you are. Because
100%, man.
as we'll get into a little bit later, because your EP is titled "It Is What It Is."
It is what it is, man. And honestly, I'm a pretty thick-skinned dude. I've been in this game for a long time, and I look back at some people that influenced me along the way in country music, FGL being one, man, and they got so divided. There's so many people that loved them, and then so many people that gave them hate, and then eventually I've listened to many a podcast with like T-Hub and BK, and T-Hub was just like, dude, this is me, and like eventually I knew the songs were good enough that people would fall in love with us, and that's what happened. And I think that you have to believe in your art and your craft, and I think that so many people sway or are swayed by what other people's opinions are. And I think at the end of the day, you always just have to remember that you are unique, and like love yourself. And eventually, if someone's on the end of a phone and wants to throw hate at you, then they've got their own issues, man. Like you just keep going ahead, keep being you, because like being you is the best thing that you can be. No one else is you, so like just be you.
Jordan, what I love about what you're just saying too is it's so easy to be brave behind a keyboard, right? Like they're just
easiest thing,
right? It's easiest thing on the planet.
Easiest thing.
Secondly, you're tangible and you respond.
Yeah,
I love that. Nobody's managing your Instagram or your TikTok, and I just think that's extraordinary that you're that connected to the people that you're reaching on those platforms.
Absolutely, and I always will be, man. It doesn't matter, if when we're selling at arenas or stadiums or whatever. Like I will always be that, because I feel like that fan artist connection is so important. One of my biggest inspirations outside of country music is Lewis Capaldi, and I think the reason I love Lewis so much is because he's Scottish. He comes from a small town, and he's so there for the fans all the time. He's always engaging with fans. He's always retweeting fans. He's always talking to fans, and I think that sometimes when people get certain levels of fame, that can go to their head, and they forget that like you are the only reason that you're in the position you're in is because of these people buying tickets to your show, buying merchandise. That's the only reason. So it's not like you owe them that, but I feel at the same time like you do owe them that, because fans want to get to know you and they want to be there for you. So it's fans first, and as my manager said, one fan at a time and fans first every single day. Because without fans, you have no career.
No, absolutely.
No career.
It's like some people, once they get, I guess, quote unquote fame, they're just like too good for like, interacting with the fans, or just even commenting back to someone could make their week or month.
Absolutely.
We've seen it here at our festivals and our shows, like just meeting the artists or like just having them like a tweet. They're like, they're going to retweet. Oh my God, like Jordan Harvey liked my tweets. Like, the littlest thing goes the longest way, and that's how you gain more fans, because like you're there for your fans. Instead of just like, all right guys, thanks, but no thanks.
100%. 100%. I've seen it firsthand. And even Liam Gallagher, again, a couple of Brits have been speaking about, and absolutely nothing to do with country music, but I follow these guys and I love these guys, and Liam obviously being the lead singer of Oasis back in the day. And man, he's in his 50s now, I think. He's still retweeting fans. He's still commenting on fans' posts, like, because he knows the importance of building fans. And I think that it doesn't need to just be talking about country music. I think it's music in general. Every artist should appreciate and respect their fans and give them the time of day, because again, I'll say it one more time, without fans, you have no career.
Well, you know what I wanted to say too, something real quick, was I read a statement from you. Because, and I loved it. I thought it was so intelligent for someone at your age to pick this up. You said in a written statement, it might have been a bio or it might have been an interview script, that you learned a lot about writing music by watching the way people respond in the audience. Like they're literally giving you in the moment feedback. Which means, Jordan, they're obviously important to you because you care about how they're responding to your art.
100%. I mean, 100%. Because at the end of the day, man, like any artist that ever sits and writes a song for themselves, shouldn't be writing music, man. You write music for people. It's true though. You write the reason I write a song, and it can be from a personal experience, but I don't write it for myself to listen to it in my car and go like, oh dude, like love this song. I write this song because I'm feeling something at a specific time, and we're all human. Everyone is human. So we all feel this something. We all feel heartbreak. I mean, we all feel love. We all know what it's like to fall in love. I hope we all know what it's feels like to have our heart broken. I hope that everyone doesn't get to feel that, but like these are real human emotions, and you need to be able to write something that taps into that emotion of that person who hears that song. And that for me, I mean, for example, I listen to that Morgan Evans song right now, and it breaks my heart, man. Like, I listen to that and I'm like,
it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, but you know what? There's no, even though he wrote that from a personal experience, he wrote that for the people.
Exactly.
Because with him listening to that in his car, like, great, good job, Morgan, like, great song. But it's the millions of people that he's like touching with that song. You never go on stage. I go on stage every night because I want to perform and I want to entertain the people. I don't want to be entertained. If I want to be entertained, I'll watch The Sopranos. Like, I perform to entertain people, and I write music for the people. The people make your career.
Yeah. Especially like when you can relate to what you're going through, relate to your music, which also relates to the fans, because everyone goes through their same thing at one point in time throughout their life. So
100%.
Like the most popular songs are relatable. You don't see like, some fake scenario, a popular song being relatable at all, or popular even.
Yeah.
But speaking of your music itself,
of course.
Yeah.
You weren't really a singer before.
Nah.
You were a songwriter, right? So how did that happen?
Yeah, man. So like, from my kind of musical past been pretty interesting. When I was younger, I was roughly around the age of like 13, 14, and I always had this love for country music and music in general. And my cousin passed away in a tragic car accident, and I inherited his drum kit.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Not cool that he died, but it's kind of cool that I got this drum kit. And I basically I said to myself from that moment, everything in life happens for a reason. Yeah. And this drum kit came into my life, and I could see how my family was, and everyone was so proud of my cousin because he was in this band and it was doing pretty decent and stuff. And I just said, well, cool, like, I'll be the one that takes the reins and I'll keep drums in the family. So I studied drums. I worked at drums for years and years. I studied as a session drummer, played as a session drummer, played all over the UK, Europe, came to America, got my first job playing on Broadway and Tootsie's and Honky Tonk Central and Rippies and stuff. Yeah, man. And like, I always just wrote songs as well on the side. And one day I got a call saying I was playing in Honky Tonk Central, and I think someone had videoed me. And when I was playing downtown, I was playing drums and I played keyboards and I'd sing some songs, play guitar, and my band leader was amazing, man. He just let me play everything. And someone videoed me, sent it to someone, and I got a call to come in and meet a label, which was Broken Bow Records. And on top of that, I met the guys in King Calloway, and then I joined King Calloway. And then when I was in King Calloway, that's when I really, I got offered a publishing deal on the side, and they were like, hey, we just want to keep writing. So I started writing all these songs, and I don't know, I think that if it wasn't for the publishing deal, I wouldn't be writing the songs I am today, because it allowed me to write 100 plus songs a year. And it's like a muscle, man. Like, if you go to the gym, you're not going to be benching 250 straight away. You're going to start off at 50 and then get to 70.
Sure about that?
Yeah, maybe
just go on. I was going to say, maybe
you've got some big arms there, bro. You're probably slamming 250 back there. But like, for me, it started off at 50 and then 70, and then you work your way up, don't you? So you never write. The first song you write is never your best song. You eventually get to a point where you can tap into your feelings, because there's a connection. It's funny with songwriting, and for some people that can do it straight away, like, damn you, Paul McCartney. But like, there comes a point where you can put your emotions and your talent into the right place, and it connects, and you go, okay, there's the song. And I think for me, that was I Will was the first one that I really felt that I was like, boom, there's personal and like craft and talent at the same time
intersecting,
comes together, and then you create this song and you get the goosebumps and you're like, okay, this is a great song, like, I love this song. And then when you send that to your team and you get the same reaction, so for me, it started off drums and songwriting, and then eventually just morphed into this artistry.
Okay. Wow. And then so back to like I Will, to piggyback off that, did you ever expect like Alabama Girl to be as popular as it is? And first off, why Alabama Girl? Like, why not Indiana Girl?
Yeah, why not? So
where you're at today?
Yeah. I came back from Scotland in August 2020 after I'd been over there for the pandemic, and I went to a party. My buddy invited me along, and it was just full of dudes, which was extremely discouraging, having the fact that I'd not seen a female for 5 months because I was locked in my house. And out steps the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life, holding this red velvet cake. It was a friend of mine's birthday party, so she brings out the cake, and we got talking, and asked her on a date. Managed to get the date eventually after about 10 tries, and did on the first, very persistent. And on the first date, I just knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with this person, and it so happens that she's from Alabama, went to the University of Alabama, and we just recently got engaged, actually.
There's your inspiration.
I know, so my Alabama Girl, and I actually wrote that song about her in her dad's office in Alabama during the pandemic.
That's actually
yes,
that's awesome.
And I had this line in this song, dear friend of mine who kind of took me under his wing. His name's Andy Albert. He's all over Nashville right now. I mean, he wrote a rock for with Hardy. He wrote like Thinking About You for Dustin, Good Girl. He's a monster songwriter. He took me under his wing and really wanted to be part of this project, which was a really humbling for me that someone of that caliber wants to be a part of someone that had one song. I will. Yeah. He loved the kind of vision I had and where I wanted to go. And he said to me, he was like, I kind of have this line, because I told him I wanted to do the Alabama song, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, what about if we wrote it and the middle part of it was she likes my accent and I love her drawl? And I said, done. That's the whole song. That's the whole song. Everyone else just has to go around that. That is the whole song. I'm like, just like, that's it. Hit that line and we'll build the whole thing around there.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, so your debut EP just released, 8 days ago?
8 days ago, yeah.
Because ironically, I saw you at Whiskey Jam the day before it released.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had laryngitis, but at least you got to see that performance, yeah.
Hey. Dedication, because you like you said, you want to perform.
You wasn't going to let nobody down.
No, I wasn't.
Now, how did you come up with the title, It Is What It Is, as we talked about earlier?
So, I came up with the title, It Is What It Is, because I feel like I just caught myself saying that so much in life, and I feel like it's such a relatable term, man. I just think that, the pandemic happened, and it was such a sad time, and for a lot of people, it was a reset time for a lot of people, and I remember being back at my mum and dad's and kind of saying, well, I can either sit in my joggers here, you guys call them sweatpants, and I can play FIFA or Xbox and eat chocolate ice cream every day, or I can get out and I can walk and I can write songs. And I mean, in the pandemic of a space of 5-6 months I was back in Scotland, I definitely wrote well over 100 songs, which is pretty crazy. And I just said, hey, listen, it is what it is. This is a position I'm in. You either make good of it or you make bad of it. And I just think that's a decision in every life. I feel like that's the way in every walks of life. Like, it is what it is. You either do this or you do that. And if you do this, there's consequences. You do that, there's consequences. It is what it is. Take it on the chin, move forward. And I feel like it's such a down the line term, because it's not negative, it's not positive. It's just like, it is what it is. And I feel like with this record is what it is. It was recorded all over the world, man. It was parts of the record. My backing vocals are from Scotland. I cut them in my mum's bedroom.
That's awesome.
Alabama Girl, the chorus vocal for the Alabama Girl was recorded in my girlfriend's mum and dad's closet. I think there's even
I love this story. I love this.
Yeah, awesome. It did. True. And overnight, all the that was all in Scotland as well. Along for the Ride was recorded in my little studio-esque side bedroom where the dog's bed is in Nashville. Like, it was just Nashville, and then I recorded the vocals for the verse and chorus vocals of Overnight, minus the post-chorus, Alabama Girl verses, and I Will verse and chorus. I recorded that all in my buddy's washroom in LA. So it's like LA, Nashville, potentially Serbia, because I was there for 2 weeks. I can't confirm that. Scotland, Alabama. I mean, it was just, there was like 4 or 5 different locations this record was recorded. And again, it is what it is. Like, I was in Scotland, so the vocals, somehow the backing vocals were better when I recorded them in Scotland than when I tried to redo them. It is what it is. Keep them.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
That's just the record, man.
It's just locations that weren't necessarily acoustically treated.
Yeah,
let's be honest, right?
Exactly. And people online being like, "This kid's not Scottish. Isn't country Scottish?" I'm like, "Well, it is what it is." Because guess what? I'm pretty.
Awesome.
If you can see when I grew up, I'm pretty country when I grew up. I'm telling you.
That is awesome. Now, what's your favorite song off the EP?
Man, I have so many different favorite songs for different reasons. As a single standpoint.
No, let's not do single step.
Yeah, I think personally. Personally, Thing About Change, just because that song was written about my girlfriend entirely, who is now my fiance. And I had a conversation with my dad about, I remember I said to him, how did you feel when you met mom? And he kind of felt the same way as I felt when I met my girlfriend. And again, like, for every person that's met their person or is dreaming of meeting their person, who doesn't want to hear a song saying like, I never liked to think about change until you changed everything. And it's so true. Like, I was I say my tag on Instagram is Caledonian Cowboy, because I'm this Scottish cowboy that's never settled. Awesome. I mean, I've lived a million lives, but it's I just love the fact that she was the person, and I'm so lucky, truly so lucky that I have her and that she was the person to change everything for me. Because now music and now my life, I don't do everything for me, I do it for us. And I've never had that before.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it's amazing to have that, It's amazing to have that person that you wake up every day and just go like, you are my world. Without sounding cringy or cheesy, it's just like it's the most amazing feeling in the world. So she changed everything for me. So forever, whenever I play that song, I'll never not be able to think of her. So that's my favorite song. It's the one awesome. And my best friend Tom Jordan produced it. So
they're even better,
which is like the best.
Now,
thing.
do you ever bring your fiance out on the road with you?
So as of yet, she's been out a couple times, but she is actually a dancer in a Broadway musical right now. That she was in Chicago for, I want to say 6 to 7 months at the Nederlander Theatre. She was in the new production of The Devil Wears Prada, and that's just about to move to New York. So she's in like these preparation stages, but whenever she can get out, she definitely comes out for sure. But we have a little baby doggy that needs him's mama, so we can't leave the doggy. That's what it is. I'm like, honey, is it me or the dog? She's like, it's the dog. I'm like, of course it's the dog. I don't blame you. It's the cutest little thing in the world. So,
what kind of dog is it?
He's a little lab cross with like a pit bull. We rescued. Yeah, dude, he's beautiful. Awesome. We rescued him from Nashville Humane last year.
Okay. And you named him
Ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah, he's ghosty. So and he's a little cream angel. He's just perfect. So.
Nice.
So. I know we got like the show coming up,
yes.
and you got like sound check and whatnot. Yeah. So I was told to ask you some weird questions.
Fire away, man. Come on, hit me with the weirdest ones.
I got 3.
Right.
Is soup cereal or is cereal soup? Sorry.
Oh, good question. Depends what kind of soup you have, to be honest. A Scotch broth would tend to have oats in it, so I would lean towards saying that that's a cereal. But just a straight up tomato bisque, I'm going to say that's just straight up soup.
Okay. Yeah. Now, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Definitely, because it's in a bun, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because
squeeze between bread. Yes.
Yeah,
sir.
it is, right? Because you put ham on ham on 2 bits of bread, you say it's a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a long sausage?
Yeah.
It's a sandwich.
Now, last one. So if you're at a restaurant and you're waiting on the waiter, are you the waiter?
Technically. I mean, if you're talking about scientific terms, then I'm technically the waiter. And someone is also waiting on you to make a decision. So I think everyone in that circumstance is waiting. So technically, you're part of the waiting team. So you are a waiter.
You are a waiter, and this is why your mind can write songs,
that's
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Amazing.
And I also have ADD as well, so it's pretty impressive that I can think of like 6 things at once.
Yeah,
honestly,
just like that.
Oh, mate, my missus and I can be talking about buying a table from IKEA, and the next second I'm talking about is a hot dog, a sandwich. So it's pretty, it's pretty incredible where my mind moves to.
If you have ADD, I hope everyone we ever interview has ADD, because this was an amazing. You're so much fun.
Dude, so are you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Truly,
absolutely. Like I said, after the show, you're coming with.
As long as there's Scotch there, I'll be there.
Oh, what kind?
Johnny Walker. I mean, I keep it easy for the Americans. Don't worry.
You'll be Johnny Walker.
There we go. You'll be Johnny Walker to the car.
Exactly. There we go.
Before we let you go,
yes,
drop your socials so they can follow you and keep up with you.
Absolutely. So follow me on all social platforms on @JordanHarveyMusic. That's @JordanHarveyMusic. And just on there, you follow my life, man. You can see what I've been up to, see what I do, see me being a total goofball on TikTok, and then keep up with some cool things I've been up to recently around the release, i.e. what I'll be doing this evening. So thank you so much for having me.
Hey, no, thanks. Thank you for coming and being part of this. And remember, guys, Jordan Harvey Music, not Jordan Harvey, the MLS soccer player for LAFC.
Not the MLS soccer player, and I'm extremely excited for you to hear me tonight without laryngitis, so that makes me very happy.
All right.
Absolutely. And there you have it, guys.
Thank you. Cheers.
Absolutely.